Greetings, viewers. I'm at, I think it's called Tahoe State Park in Delaware. Sitting in a pavilion. I'm taking a break because my butt hurts and I'm hungry and I need to charge my phone. There's this nice lake behind me. It's called Recreation Lake 1. However, no swimming allowed, known hazard, so that kind of sucks. I'm still haven't gotten a chance to swim yet, which is frustrating, but it's not that big of a deal. Last night was like super awesome. I got rained on again twice, which was not great, but then I linked up with this couple that lived a few hours from here, and at first I was like, I was getting weird vibes from them, just because they wanted me to sleep outside, which is fine, but I just wasn't used to that, especially, I was like, they have this huge house, like, why do they, I was just getting a weird vibe of, like, them not wanting me to be intruding on their space. But after a little while, I got a little bit more comfortable, and then I started talking to this guy, and he just turned out to be like this really cool, really eccentric, really progressively minded old dude. He was like a environmental civil engineer turned occupational therapist, and he told me like all about occupational therapy and like his patients and the challenges that he's had. And his house was like, he had all these crazy doodads. Like, he had a fully electric car, which is really awesome. I got to drive in it with him. I didn't drive the car, but I went to the Chinese restaurant to pick up food with him, because they have like a family tradition of eating Chinese food every Tuesday or something like that. I hope nobody yells at me for cooking on here. But, yeah, so I joined in on their tradition, which was pretty cool. His wife is like a freelance writer. And, oh yeah, so the things that were cool that he had were, he had an electric car, he had a kegerator, which I did not understand what it was for like 20 minutes. It's a refrigerator that refrigerates kegs of beer, so he had like his own beer tap, and I had unlimited, this really good, like, Stark Stout beer, which is exactly the kind of beer I've been, like, into recently. So that was really awesome. And, what was the other thing? Oh, yeah, his whole house, he had created his own geothermal heating system, so he heated his own house with, like, groundwater, and then he cycled the water outside, and then he had a 400-pound catfish pond. So he has a pond full of fish that he uses, that he keeps alive. Like, all the things were like linked together. It was like the water goes to the pond, and the pond goes to these gardens, then the gardens take the nutrients, then the water goes back to the pond. And yeah, all that stuff was really interesting. And he told me this occupational therapy story about how this dude had a lymphoma or something, this really massively overweight person, and his balls were, he was like, his balls were like 22 pounds, or 22, oh no, they weren't 22 pounds, they were 22 inches across, and this dude couldn't stand up because his balls hurt so bad whenever he would stand up, so, he basically made like a giant sumo wrestler ball sack sling to help this guy get on his way. I'm pretty sure the dude ended up dying like shortly after that, but it was a funny story. He was telling me about all like the different. Basically, it seemed like occupational therapy kind of involves like people who are in traumatic accidents and have like a mixture of different therapies that are necessary. So he basically is like part of a team that helps people recover from like stroke or car accident and stroke, or car accident and stroke and struck by lightning and no money, etc., etc. Yeah, which was really awesome. And then I didn't get to interact with his wife too much. Oh yeah, also he was playing the clarinet. Like I was reading out on the porch for a while, and I just hear someone just playing clarinet, and he comes outside, and I was like, "Is that you playing clarinet?" And he was like, "Yeah, that was me trying. I used to play in high school, and I'm getting back into it." And it was great. And then we just kind of went down the rabbit hole of talking about like environmentalism and global warming and stuff like that. And then we were talking about automated computer music, and I told him about my friend Jack, who showed me one of these programs, and how I had this idea to link the creation of the music to the emotions being experienced in the crowd, or somehow connect like the way the music chooses different parts to how the crowd is reacting. And then this dude was like, "Well, yeah, I heard that your brain can actually make decisions before you even are conscious of what you're doing. So what if we just put one person in a room and link them up to one of those things and just presented them to themselves a song representing their future decisions." And then we set up a schizophrenia clinic after that, because anyone that goes through that experience is going to go completely insane. And then I was just dying of laughter. It was great. There was a giant hole in the exact spot where my foot went down. Yay! Just got rained all over again, twice. My butt is really sore. My morale has dipped slightly, but I'm only an hour and a half away from my goal for today, which was already a pretty big stretch, and also just saw these pretty cool sprinkler things. Oh, that one's actually like usable. It looks like, I don't know, I've never seen that kind before. I guess it somehow rolls across the field and sprays kind of some water or something else. But I'm used to seeing these ones. Wow, this field is like really beautiful. It's so green. Storms are kind of lame, but almost done. Probably gonna sleep outside today just because I don't want to bike too much further. There's actually a bunch of churches where I'm stopping, so I might try to see if I can get into one of those for sleeping. So yeah, see what happens. Alright, there's almost no way you're gonna be able to see this, but I swear to God I see Master Chief in a cloud over there, so I'm gonna try to get it. Okay. You can kinda see it. Over there. There's like his top of his head, and then there's the visor and his face, and he's got like the little thing on his back. It doesn't look clear at all on this because I'm zooming in, but whatever. The clouds are like so crazy out here. Then there's another really cool one over there. It looks like somebody like standing holding like a bowl of like hot soup or something, and like the soup is like steamy. Big boys. I wish I had a better camera, but I don't. Also, I feel like it'd be so annoying to use. I was just feeling so sorry for myself for the last 10 minutes because of this. I was just having an interaction with this woman, and like I just felt really stupid. But I just found like this little maze through these plants on the bike path, and there's a little beach right here and all these plants, and I wish I could camp here. That would be epic. But there's just not enough space in here, and I think it's a little bit too easy for other people to get to. Wow, I could probably just go swim right in here. There's freaking spider webs everywhere though, and I feel kind of bad tearing them down. I think this is like the ocean, or I don't know which side I'm on actually. It's either the ocean or a huge river. I'm gonna go dip my feet in here. I went off the bike path kind of like into the middle of nowhere a little bit. Not too far. The bike path's like 2 football fields over there. And I started having to poop, so I was heading out, and then look what I found. A light in the darkness. And also a steamroller that I'm gonna sit on. And whatever that thing is. I'm kind of tempted to just camp right on these metal platforms. But I know it's not a good idea because these guys may well come here to work in the morning and then be like, "Yo, why are you camping on my block?" And then I'll have to get off the block. Also, like, I'm not sure if I already said this in a different video, but I called the church and they said I could camp there, but I actually really like this area over here. So I'm kind of I'm thinking I might try to find a place here where I'm slightly out of sight and stay here, then call the church and tell them I'm not coming. But I haven't decided yet, so I'm gonna make my decision while I take my poop. Goodbye. 2 interesting tidbits about this porta potty. 1, it has a mirror. I guess that's kind of interesting, so that's like 1.5. And then 2, stare at butts in the urinal.